Genocide is a frightening word. By definition, it is about the eradication of a whole category of people, not marginalizing, but eradication. It screams out the worst examples of humanity, like the attempts by the Nazis to rid Europe of Jews. It's striking to me that in a week we observe the 75th anniversary of D-Day, which was devoted to the actual removal of a genocidal regime, we are talking about this in Canada, the most welcoming and generous nation on the planet. By any measure, Aboriginal women in Canada are more frequently the victims of domestic violence and murder than women of other communities. But how can that be genocide? The Commission, it seems to me, came to a preconceived conclusion, a solution that was politically driven by the virtue-signaling chattering class and the Liberal government. The RCMP police most of the areas in Canada where there are First Nations communities. They would be the experts on this subject. In 2014, the RCMP did a study of the problem. In their findings, they determined that Indigenous women were more likely to be victims of violence than others in the mainstream communities. But their study found that they were most likely to be victimized by members of their own community, spouses, boyfriends, neighbors, and acquaintances. Two findings in that report leap out at me to refute the finding of genocide as the MMIW Commission found. Quote, there are similarities across all female homicides. Most homicides were committed by men, and most of the perpetrators knew their victims, whether as an acquaintance or as a spouse. The majority of all female homicides are solved, close to 90%, and there is little difference in solve rates between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal victims, unquote. In the report, the RCMP does state that Indigenous women are overrepresented among Canadian murdered and missing women. I don't doubt that for a moment. But the real causation factor is not genocide, but spouses, boyfriends, and other members of their own community. That's reality. And any cop in Canada will tell you that that is their experience as well. The term genocide suggests the eradication of a particular group of people. In 1998, just 2.8% of people identified as having an Aboriginal background. In 2006, that number grew to 3.8%. 2019, the number has grown to 5%. If Canada is guilty of genocide, we have been spectacularly unsuccessful. Another part of the same equation is the fact that we spend well north of $8 billion every year on Aboriginal issues, and the number grows every year. While Canadian governments have not been successful in dealing with societal issues in places like Attawapiskat or Grassy Narrows, the treatment of First Nations women is certainly not genocide by any definition. For True North, I'm Leo Knight. By the way, unlike the mainstream media and the CBC, we're not getting millions in taxpayer dollars. We rely on Canadians like you for our entire existence. If you like the content of True North, please go to tnc.news to donate and support independent journalism. Thank you.